Take a moment to arrive. Organize your body, your spine, your breath. Close your eyes and draw your attention inside. Coming home deeply, here and now. We'll begin chanting Om together one time. Inhale deeply. Om. Be still, be quiet. Yoga is not the practice. Yoga is a state of connectedness and receptivity and openness. And so through the practice, we're training to be in this state of presence, aliveness. The same way that in the sports, they're training certain drills and exercises in order to be in the flow in the game. In the game, spontaneously, automatically, we know how to respond because of the training. We don't have to think. It's in the flow. It's not through thinking, but through a natural flow and responsiveness. So in the same way, through training the basic fundamental aspects of life, like breathing, sitting, moving, stillness, talking, silence, and working at the subtle level of the vibration, we're able to attain a kind of effortless mastery in relation to the flow of daily life. And so the purpose of yoga is not to perform the postures correctly or do more and more complicated postures, but to be more and more deeply in tune with yourself, with the moment, to be more and more alive. This in-tuneness, aliveness doesn't come from planning and thinking, but from a natural presence, responsiveness. And so this is why we're training how to listen, this awareness, deeper listening, not listening with the mind, but listening with the whole self. And so we recommend taking a little time each day to clean your body, heart, and mind. The same like you clean your clothes, you clean the plate, you clean the toilet. We have to clean ourselves every day regularly. It's not enough just to clean the surface of our skin and our teeth, but for sure cleaning our hearts, our minds, our cells and organs and blood, all this biology. And then we feel more fresh, lighter. So this is a tuning process, tuning, like a musician tunes their instrument. We tune ourselves. Then this in-tuneness is a completely different world, completely different reality. Being in tune with yourself, being in tune with life, and being out of tune with life. Completely different. Dancing in rhythm with the music and out of rhythm is completely different. The feeling. And so we have to learn to recognize the feeling of being in tune and learn to recognize the feeling of being out of tune. And then understand the process of tuning. The purpose of tuning is not for the sake of tuning. The purpose of tuning is to live, to be in tune, to become an expression of that, of yourself. So this is the journey of coming home. We can never reach that in the idea about the future. We have so many ideas of things we have to change and fix and learn, and what we have to do and acquire. And the idea is that somehow, once we do all those things, if it's possible, then we'll be good enough, something. It'll be good, we'll be successful, and then maybe we can be at home, we can rest, something. But it would seem that it's impossible, it will never come. We can never do all those things. All the things and no matter how much we do, even if we do them, there's more to be done. And so this idea of success in the future by achieving something or getting something, it would seem that that's like the dangling carrot that always goes a little bit further, is never enough. And so all we know is this state of never enough. It's never enough. I'm not enough. I'm not this enough or that enough. I don't have enough this or that, or whatever it is. And so even when we get that, we're still in the state of not enough. That's all we've trained ourselves to see, is not enough. And so the path of yoga is a radical reversal. It says that this enough, you can never fill this hole. This not enough hole can never be filled, no matter how much you put. Because for sure, if it was possible, someone would have filled the hole by now. Even the rich people, the powerful people, the famous people, the beautiful people, still not enough. And so instead of trying to achieve some ideal about the future, the path of yoga says this moment is enough. Experience the enoughness, this wholeness, here and now, in this moment. Otherwise, it will never be enough. And so it's a radically different approach. To allow yourself to experience yourself instead of all the forcing, pushing to be something else, to achieve something. To be present within yourself, to be at home here and now. This is the real happiness. We have a misunderstanding about happiness. We think happiness is this excitement when you get what you want. When you win, you get what you want, then we feel temporary intoxication, a high, a rush from getting what we want. But then very quickly it's replaced by like a sugar high, right? It's like that, you eat sugar, you get excited and high. But that high, that excitement is not happiness. It's just a momentary intoxication. Quickly it's replaced by the opposite, no? Like after the sugar. Or some fear. We have that, we are happy, excited, but then we're afraid to lose it or that it will change, and then it does change. And so the real happiness is not a high and low. The real happiness is a kind of contentment. Like after you eat a meal, you feel full, a fullness, a wholeness. The feeling nothing is missing. Nothing is missing is not a high, it's just it's like a warm embrace of in this feeling of enoughness, then it's not because of some object, dependent upon some specific object, a person, some goal, some whatever it may be. That's the high in intoxication. But this happiness, this wholeness, this fullness is coming from within. And is more like peace, a peacefulness. Not restlessness. Otherwise, we're always restless. Not enough, got to get there. Something more and more and more. It's a restlessness. And so there's no happiness with the restlessness. There's momentary intoxication, and then there's the distraction from the restlessness. But that neither of those is happiness. Happiness is this feeling of wholeness, fullness. And so through the daily practice, by dedicating a little bit of time to train your body, heart, and mind, we can train our nervous system, our rhythm. We're working on the rhythm. We're not working on the changing the thoughts from the past or the future. Right? Simply working on this subtle rhythm, like a motorbike has the subtle tuning the rhythm, the way that the pistons, the belts in the car are working. So in the same way, we have a subtle rhythm produced because of the thoughts and emotions and the motivation, all these different factors, and then our biochemistry. It's all, everything involved in that rhythm. And so if we can create a very smooth, very natural rhythm, which is the natural way. If we observe all the animals, all the trees and plants and different fish and birds, everyone's so completely natural, 100% natural, in rhythm with themselves, never questioning the rhythm. So for sure, we can remember. It's a remembering, not a learning, so it's an unlearning, and then a remembering of that natural state. And more we can be natural, more and more we experience the peace, the magic, the joy, the love. But we can never experience that in thinking, with the words. Peace is a vibration. Love is a vibration. It's not a thought, an idea. The idea of peace is not peace. The idea of peace is a bunch of rules and some abstractions and some ideals and so all this. The idea of peace is a kind of violence. The real peace has no idea. The real peace is the life. The real love is not the mind, is not our idea of love. Real love is life itself, the river flowing, the sun shining, the plants growing. This is the expression of love. The fruit, the flower blossoming, the sound traveling through the space. The energy, the expression of life itself is love through the electromagnet, the whole movement, the whole dance of life. But the idea of love in the mind is nothing to do with the real love. And when someone is really experiencing love, in a state of love, there's no idea, no words. The same way like the sugar doesn't know its sweetness, then when you're in a state of peace, you're not thinking about peace. No, you are the peace. So this is why we must tune our bodies, hearts, and minds so the mind can rest and we can experience these more subtle qualities of life. Otherwise, it's just endless noise. And the mind is always making trouble. No, it's never enough. There's no conclusion. And so the conclusion is here and now, to be present. We need thinking, but not continuously 24 hours a day, just continuously banging and regurgitating the same things. With less thinking, the thinking itself becomes much more efficient, much more direct, much more creative, much more focused. But constantly thinking, then it becomes very diluted and very unmanageable, like disorganized, uncontrollable. And so this is why through the practice of yoga, through tuning and creating a rhythm, we're like cultivating a garden. If you want to grow a garden, you have to first take care of the soil. You have to prepare the soil and clean the soil. Rake up the soil, the stones, pull out all the things that don't belong, aerate the soil, get the nutrients and minerals, and get the soil nice and healthy. All kinds of microbes and so much going on in the soil. So in the same way, we need to cultivate the rich, fertile space within us through the practice of yoga, breathing, and meditation. Then this is like cleaning at the level of the cells, the blood, the nervous system, the glands, the organs, the heart, mind. All these subtle channels are being activated, cleansed, tuned, harmonized. And then that puts us in a state of receptivity, openness, fertility, ripeness, creativity. And this is what we call to be in tune, to be in shape. And when you're in shape, it's such a joy to play the sports. When you're out of shape, then it's a terrible, it's like a torture. And so the only difference is in shape or out of shape. And so this is why we recommend to stay in shape, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and this interconnected state, body, heart, and mind, nourishing all of these, and then connecting, tuning. And really 2%, essentially 30 minutes, is enough if we dedicate every day. Like you charge your phone every day, we take this time to charge, not just sleeping, but we need some more intentional way of awakening. Like you wake in the morning, you turn all the lights on. In the same way, you wake up and you start with simple practice of movement and breath. It's like turning on all of your organs and switching on all of your brain and everything, your breath. It becomes a different type of aliveness at every level, physically, emotionally, mentally. And so the daily practice really itself is like part of the diet, part of our diet, not just a hobby or a side thing, but really essential, like taking a shower. We consider that essential. No, brushing the teeth for sure, everyone's doing it. Washing your clothes, everyone's doing it. This is essential. Also eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, eating at least once or twice a day. But this process of cleansing and awakening and tuning is also equally important to maintain a healthy life, if not even more essential, because this is the integration. This is integration, and this is what allows for the smooth functioning of the organism. Things like sleep, digestion, all of these natural processes. And so this is why we recommend to take simple practice that you can take with you and do wherever you are in the world. You don't need a yoga teacher. You don't even need a yoga mat. All you need is a little bit of space, and you can easily keep yourself in this state of aliveness. Of course, if you're interested to do acrobatics and gymnastics and more complicated physical feats, then it's wonderful. It's super. We can do so many things. But most important, first thing is we must establish this peace, this aliveness. Then we can go and do crazy things. But most important for sure, the most important is that we can feel at home within ourselves. We wake up and we feel inspired, we feel connected, alive. We have moments of gratitude, moments of beauty, moments of joy, moments of wonder, moments of learning, every day filled with the moments, endless, infinite moments. And anyway, the moments are everywhere, but we're missing them. We're not picking them up because we're distracted, and we haven't tuned ourselves. It's a tuning. We're tuned with the problem. We're tuned with everything that's wrong. We're tuned with the future, but we're not tuned with the here and now. The here and now has become just a kind of means of getting there. The goal is over there. This is just a way to get there. But you see that you'll never arrive there. There's no arriving, because there is always a little further. Unless you can be here, and here is now. Here is not for later. Here means now. Here is not for later. And whatever is later then will never come. It's always later. And so this is why we're focused on here. And for sure, there will flow from here. But here is like the game. When you're playing a sports game, they blow the whistle, the game starts. The game is here. When you're here, you can't be in the last game or the next game. Otherwise, you're going to miss this game. And so you're fully here. And so the whistle is now, each moment. The game is here and now. Life is here and now, in this moment. Everything that's happened before has brought us to here. Everything before is contained in here. Everything that will come from here. So this is the meeting point where the past and future, they're meeting here. And this is where anything is possible. Where life is possible is here. Where peace is possible is here. Where wisdom is possible is here. not in the idea about there, not in the future. So this is why we talk about radical presence. Radical presence means no thinking. When we stop thinking, we can see clearly. Until that point, nothing is clear. So in order to stop thinking, you have to slow down your rhythm, slow down this biorhythm, and then train your mind to be in one place again and again. Like you tie up the animal, eventually it runs out of energy. In the same way, you have to contain your mind. At first it's revolting. Eventually it's so grateful that it can finally relax. What a gift that we're not frantically burning our mind like crazy and like non-stop, like a blender that never shuts off, cutting everything into pieces. It's just such a gift for ourselves and everyone when we can slow down, be more quiet, then you can see clearly. So it's not by adding more thoughts to the mind, more and more thoughts and more rules and philosophies and all of this. It's not going to help. So let's see, we have a pile of questions. Where to focus when meditating? I had previously focused on moving from my mind into my body to feel more connected. But here is the focus just to not think when meditating. So there's a few things. One is in meditation we need an anchor. It's like we're a boat in the ocean getting tossed by the waves. Thoughts, emotions, pain, everything, and seems like there's no center. Everything is we just keep getting knocked this way and that way. So you need some kind of anchor at first. Right, so that you don't stray too far and you are gradually coming back to center, kind of rooting, grounding. And so there are different anchors that are used in different traditions. In the Theravada tradition, Southeast Asia, they have 40 different anchors, 40 different meditation objects that are trained in succession. Right? So the most common is the breath, following the breath. And it's not the idea of breath, but the rising, falling of the belly, or the sensation under the nose. This is what they're practicing in Anapanasati, in the Vipassana. And watching that, mind becomes very calm. Focus on the breathing is bringing a samatha, this very evenness, calmness. Then you have, my tradition is focus at one-pointed focus. So a third eye point or heart center point, one point, like a seed, and you grab onto that point, and then when you get distracted, you just keep coming back. As many times as needed, even hundreds of times, it's not a problem. Then you have different things. It can be an object you visualize in your mind, can be a different sound. This again, we don't want to spin out in too many objects, because no matter what object you pick, it may be easy at first, it's exciting, then it will be difficult. Or it's difficult at first, it becomes easy. It doesn't matter. It's important to point out the purpose of meditation is not for it to be easy or for it to make sense. The purpose of meditation is for this purging, this purification, this release of all the bullshit that we've been holding on to and that's stuck inside has to come out. And so whether it's easy, it's difficult, we understand it doesn't matter. Impossible to understand it. The same way it's impossible to understand your digestion. You eat the food, what's happening? No idea. We have no idea. Which enzymes, which is it going well, the stomach, the intestines, what's happening where? Is it getting absorbed? Is it what's going on? Nothing. We don't even know anything. Even abstractly, we hardly know anything. But exactly what's happening in this moment, we have no idea. In the same way, meditation, you can never understand it. What's important is you have to digest the food. So in the same way, you sit in the meditation, and what happens. You do that again and again, at least 30 days. Recommendation is really 100 days, 100-day challenge. Then during that time, you observe your daily life. when you're not meditating. No? If during that time you feel more alive, more focused, more creative, more clear, this means the meditation is working. The meditation is many stages, many phases, many layers. We can't predict, we can't control that. We don't want to get involved in some idea, oh, it should be like this, shouldn't be like this, I'm good, I'm not good. It doesn't matter. In fact, better, let's just assume it's going to be difficult for like 6 months. It'll be impossible. Right? Same like playing the violin. You pick up the violin and just, it's impossible. It's not nice, it's not pleasant, it's uncomfortable, it doesn't sound good. So who cares? Let it not sound good. But then observe your daily life. Right? In the daily life, you feel lighter. You're more intuitive. You're more connected with your center. Right? This means, somehow it's working. Right? Just by repeating again and again, most of the issues and questions and troubles will go away by themselves. Many of the sleepiness and all these different things, these are natural in the initial phases. The key is just to continue to practice every day, fixed practice. Ideally at a fixed time of day, same time, same thing. So you're doing 15 minutes practice, you put the timer 15 minutes and you sit. You start with the movement, then the breath, you're already very calm. Chant Rama for a minute or two, then push the timer. You lock your attention and watch. Then 15 minutes goes, timer beeps, you finish your practice, take some notes, and then go on with your duty. But you have to pick up the violin at least 100 times before it starts to make sense. So the initial thing is just there's lots of surface tension, there's lots of things, lots of stuck energy in our mind, lots of habits, all this kind of thing. So initially it's just clearing that away. Concentration is one aspect of meditation, right? But also this calmness, also the breath. And there are many journeys, then they're transcending the mind and all these infinite journeys. But there's a space between the thoughts. This is the gateway into the deep meditation. Before you can go in this space, you need to be one-pointed. You need one-pointed focus. So in order to cultivate one-pointed focus, you need to practice this concentration on an object. That's why we're doing it through the practice. Through the postures, we're cultivating one-pointed focus and breath awareness, sensory awareness. And so it's part of this process of recentering, recalibrating. Right now our center is in some ego idea in the past, some idea of who we were, what other people think we are, some goal that we were told we're supposed to have. We're not centered, grounded within ourselves. We're out split all over the place in some ideal of the future or some story about the past, something like that. So this process is a recalibration of our whole self here and now. It's very radical. And so at first it's a bit uncomfortable because we're And so there are many different traditions and ways of coming into this meditative state. So there are different concentration practices, there are different relaxation practices, and there are different transcendence practices. All three of these are clumped together in meditation. So if you have a specific tradition, you should work with that tradition. What we're teaching here is this simple practice, this alchemy. This is part of the Tantra Shastra, or the Sri Vidya, my tradition, Divine Mother Worship, right? Which is through the Raja Yoga, using these tools for purification. Like you want to clean the clothes, you have a brush, you have different ways of cleaning the clothes. You have different soap, and you soak it in different temperature water, and then you scrub, and then you hang it to dry, and it's clean. So in order to clean the human being, we have different parts, the body, heart, and mind. And so in the Yoga Shastra, there's different ways cleaning the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth. These are the 7 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 holes. Different ways of cleaning all the holes. The skin is also full of holes, cleaning the skin, the pores, and then cleaning the blood, cleaning the nervous system, the organs, the cells, the glands, all of this. Right, so we're cleaning, we're activating all of this, then heart and mind. And so the daily practice is the foundation, and all of these parts are working together. All of this is working together, the movement, the breath, the stillness. And so through this process, like a musician that's mastered their musical instrument, like a sports player that's mastered their sport, we come into this state of deep aliveness, creative aliveness, and presence, like a child. Like the child is very present and alive and creative, because not stuck in the past, in the story, in the expectations. So it's the same kind of thing. And so most important is regular practice, regular training. How does looking through the third eye work? Question. So we have 3 eyes, no? Right eye, sun, left eye, moon, and then the third eye, which is fire. So these 2 eyes are for duality, and they're going out. But the third eye is the oneness looking inside. And so when we see inside, we have the inner vision, like in the dreaming state also. Which eyes do you see your dreams? Which eyes do you see memories and images? And this is not the outer eye. We have a screen inside as well, where things are projected. But then beyond the screen, we have, it's like a portal. Now, through the brain, there are different glands and different hormones and everything. And even our brain itself is not stuck, but the skull has different plates which are moving. And then there's the whole science of brain yoga, activating different parts of the brain through moving these subtle plates of the skull. And so the third eye, as we refocus our attention, recenter our attention at the center of the brain, then it's activating and like it's awakening a different capacity, a different kind of knowing, a different sensitivity, a different understanding. And it's translated through the same senses and mind, but it's more subtle, you know. It's a, it's through the third eye. Yeah, the wisdom is functioning through third eye. Mind is the duality. So mind is through the 2 eyes, thinking, analyzing, comparing, contrasting, expectation, memory, past. Everything is mind. Everything is the 2 eyes. But the third eye is the eye of wisdom, the eye of knowing, the eye of truth, that's connected with all of existence. And so this eye is seeing the oneness, understanding the oneness, the interconnected web of being, whereas the duality is cutting it into little pieces and analyzing all the differences, comparing, contrasting everything. And so in sleep, the third eye is active. In sleep and dreaming, in the meditation. No, but during the day, when the 2 eyes are open and being flooded with light and images and information, then the third eye becomes very quiet, because there's too much information and stimulation coming through the other 2 eyes. This is part of the reason why my eyes are closed most of the time. Is it a goal to think about nothing during meditation, or just to realize thoughts and emotions and sensations and let them go? Yeah. So good question. So no, we're not making, you can't think about nothing. You can't think about nothing. Not thinking. There's a thought between the spaces. Of course you can't think about nothing, and we don't make a goal for that. No, because you can't think about nothing. Not thinking and thinking about nothing is different. No, stop thinking. We're so attached to thinking. Our whole life is thinking. All we have is thinking. In between the thoughts is where the real life is. The real world is in between the thoughts. The thoughts are not life. The thought about flower, my thought that flower is beautiful. The word flower is completely false. There's no flower. There's a plant, part of the life of the plant is a flowering. The flower doesn't exist separately from the plant. There's also no category. Each rose is completely unique. Each rose, each moment of the rose and its growth and its life is unique. So flower is an abstraction, false concept of something that doesn't exist in my head. And beautiful, all of this is not real. But in the space with no thinking, then I can experience the flower. I am the flower. I am beautiful. The real world is in between the thoughts. So in meditation, what we're doing, it's like you have the movie that's playing very fast, and so it seems like a continuous movie. But really it's many frames. So you slow down the movie, and then you see the frames. Right? And so then you go in between the frame. It's like you fall into it. You can't force your way into it. Thinking is forceful. Think about this, think about that. No, you don't think, you can't think the space between the meditations. You can't think nothing. That's why we say first, become nothing. See, I am nothing. I am no one. Just a bunch of cells bouncing around, just a speck of dust for a moment here. So then when you can dissolve your body into dust, into light, into nothing, your mind, then that nothingness can enter into meditation. But the ego with all the stories and problems can never enter into that space. First you have to become nothing, you have to be empty, see the emptiness, and then that emptiness can meditate naturally. That emptiness is meditation. But not an ego person with so many problems and stories trying to fix it, and then to stop the thinking, like putting the brakes on for the river's flowing, we want to put on the brakes. We can't put on the brakes. So meditation is not to try to stop thinking. Meditation is slow down, stop feeding your mind. First of all, stop feeding. It's like a kid eating candy all day. We're constantly more, never enough, and like that. So for a moment, take a break, take a diet, go on a diet. Fasting for a few minutes at least, a few seconds. Just take a break from this feast, from this endless buffet of information and stimulation. And naturally then you see how mind's calming down. Okay, whew. Slow down your mind, your senses. And for a moment, take a break, because we feel the goal's over there. So our whole life is like, oh, everything is to get there. So now the goal is here. Shift the goal from over there to here. Right, so then we're getting into position. It doesn't mean we're anywhere near meditation, but at least we're in a position where we can connect. Otherwise, we're all over the place, impossible. So then slow down. And like that again and again. It's through the repetition that we become proficient. Like dribbling a basketball. You want to dribble the basketball. How to do it. You don't need to study about the basketball or about physics or aerodynamics, all these things. You just pick it up and dribble it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. In the same way, just sit still, don't move, don't look around. Breathe slowly. Don't try to figure anything out. We're always trying to figure it out. We're always trying to find the best deal. For a moment, don't try to figure it out. Forget everything. Especially forget yourself. We're continuously obsessed with ourselves, makes it impossible just to be. Then you see there's a space in between the words, in between everything, then just be in that space. Question. When I try to look up with closed eyes, my neck, throat area gets tensed. How can I help it? So you want to make sure you're not tilting your neck at all. The chin should be down. Chin should be down and head back. It's not at all like this. The only thing that's moving is the eyes look up. So there should be, sometimes people have pain or pressure in the temple, the forehead, something like this here in the eyes. There should be nothing in the neck or throat. So maybe you have some chronic tightness in that area, you might want to focus. Maybe there's some contraction, something not expressing. You can explore and do different movements for your shoulders, things to open your shoulders. There are different exercises, shoulder circles, shoulder drops, neck circles, hanging, right? This is major junction. Here we have the two, this hips, the spine, and then the shoulders. This one is all the energy condensing in this little neck, bottleneck, and then coming up. So in general, we have, because of the vertical spine, so much problem getting the energy up to the head, the blood, the breath, everything, nervous system, because of the posture, shoulders, spine. So opening that up through different movements and things like this. And yeah. But the eyes should be just, it's like this, nothing in the shoulders or neck, only the eyeballs come up. I have trouble keeping a regular practice amongst a busy life. Recommendation is you do your practice first thing in the morning. You could just get up 20 minutes earlier, half hour earlier. You'll feel more awake, more alive, like having a cup of coffee every day. But this cup of coffee is circulating your own blood and hormones and tuning your nervous system and awakening your heart and cleaning your mind. And you're fresh and alive, like taking a shower every day. I'll bet in your busy life you take a shower every day, for sure. Probably twice a day. Morning time, feel awake, ready, fresh. Evening time, remove all the stuff. And so it has to become like that. You have a fixed practice, means how long can you do? Say, okay, very busy, fine. Maybe you can only do 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes. 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of meditation. Exactly what? 1 minute of this, 30 seconds integration. 1 minute of that, you can do 3 postures. In 5 minutes, 3 postures. In 5 minutes, 3 breathing practice. In 5 minutes, meditation. And you do exactly that every day, exactly that. And if you have extra time, you add more. You can always add more. You know, okay, this day I happen to have more time, I add more. Or you do that in the morning and you do it again in the evening, 15 minutes. 15 minutes and it's programmed exactly. It's not, what do I feel like doing? What do I want? I don't know, let me think, maybe later. No, exact fixed time, fixed practice, fixed everything fixed. Because variable is one's experience. It has to become rooted in the cycle of time, rhythm of time. This is most important. From the beginning, the yogis make this recommendation, thousands of years. Even in longer practice, it's fixed practice, same thing every day. And it's the same like sports players do in the gym. When they go to the gym, you have the arms day, and you have this sequence, these exercises, this one first, this many reps, this many sets, this much weight, and it's fixed. So in the same way, it has to be fixed. Otherwise, it will never last. You can do it once or twice. It's a good intention, but it can never last. You need to train like a sports player, like a musician, like learning a foreign language. And if you see this as nourishment, as part of your diet, if you see this as an act of love, know that filling yourself with love, with your breath, it's like an awakening, then for sure, if that's important in our life, it depends what's important in our lives. This also we have to see. We have priorities, and we have what we say, but we have also how we spend our time and money and energy. And this says a lot, because how we dedicate our lives, for what purpose we're doing what we're doing each moment. And we have to investigate, because if to be present, to be healthy, to be alive is important, for sure we can make time. For sure. For sure there's time for that. Otherwise, what's the purpose of all of this? And so part is to understand the cycle rhythm of time in the day, how we spend our time. Most people at least spending 15 minutes on social media, at least. Probably 4 or 5 times that, if not more. And so if we can take a few minutes in a fixed, programmed, conscious, intentional way, and we experience how those few minutes make us feel, then once you've done it 15 days, 20 days, 30 days in a row, then the practice does itself. It will grow organically by itself. So that's my recommendation is 100-day challenge. 100 days, fixed practice. Again, you can always do more. Is it okay to meditate with your eyes open when closing them distracts me too much? Yes, so there are some traditions that do meditate eyes open. And there are some people in particular that for them it's easier to concentrate and focus with their eyes open. So you have to experiment for yourself. Same with all of these practices, right? We're teaching within a certain tradition and framework. And it's good to really try that out as authentically as you can. And then through your own experimentation, you have to find what works and what doesn't work for you. And so there are some people who meditate with their eyes open and it does not distract them. They're able to maintain the one-pointed focus. There's some people that sleep with their eyes open, right? So that's okay. It's just you have to really be clear that you're not just like thinking or like, because many people just sit there and like contemplate. And contemplation is beautiful. It's great to like ruminate and to contemplate about things and to consider things, etc. But that's not meditation. Right? It's great to do those things. 100% guided meditation, relaxation, wonderful. It's wonderful to do. Relaxation, self-hypnosis, analyzing contemplating certain themes or topics in an intuitive way is really powerful spiritual practices we have. But meditation means dissolve everything, your body, your mind, back into a speck of dust, like a tiny seed of light, and then poof, explode into infinite dimensions. This is meditation. So, possible to do with the eyes open? Yes. The ocean breathing, Ujjayi, only during the asana or also meditation? No, so during meditation it has to be not controlled breathing, not pressure breathing. Very breathless breathing. Like where the breath is, it's not even in and out, it's just kind of like a bellows, like moving inside very slowly, that it's almost imperceptible. The Ujjayi breathing is a controlled breathing. So no, in meditation you have to release. The Ujjayi breathing is like for cleaning. It's like cleaning out the pipes, everything. That pressure helps to move everything through and stimulate the flow. But in a meditation, you have to release. Question: how should I deal or react to a really noisy and loud mind during meditation? It has been different before. Do I just accept it and go on? Yes, accept it and go on. You can laugh at it. You can see it. It's silly. It's just, when the mind is noisy, this is often the meditation is working. Now the meditation is like a purgative. We have all these thoughts, emotions that are stuck inside. They need to come out. How will they come out? Right? It's like throwing up. You eat this food, bad food, you have to throw it up. You're throwing it up. You're like, oh no, look at that again. It's like, no, it has to come out. No, so we don't understand what's meditation. We don't understand. No one understands. Trust me, don't try to understand. Just go through the process. The meditation knows what to do. Your body knows how to digest the food, knows exactly what to do. Your cells know exactly what to do. Your blood, everything, life knows what to do. We have no idea what to do. The heart and the beating, the blood flowing, exactly everything is known. Life knows everything. We don't know anything. Imagine you're in charge of beating your heart and cleaning your blood, digesting your food. Impossible. So we have to trust. Meditation will work. How can we know that? Because we do it again and again, we observe the daily life. This has to be, when you have that experience, you feel more alive, more centered, more grounded. Then you just trust it's working and you just surrender. Otherwise, there's a whole control thing, expectation, and this makes it impossible. This just slows down the whole process, and so the key is, the meditation will take care of itself. You don't need to explain for your mind how to clean itself. You have no idea. If so, you would have done it by now. If you knew how to clean your mind, you would do it. If you knew how to release the tension and emotions from your heart, you would do it. So the process is going on at a subtle level, unconscious, subconscious level, the cleaning is going on. At the level of the rhythm, the frequency, vibration. All you need to do is bring yourself to that place and let go. Again and again, working with your nervous system, your roots, nourishing the roots, tuning your breath, the subtle biorhythm, and then keeping your mind, instead of running rah, 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 rah all the time, it becomes slow. The process of slowing down, it's a little bit tricky, it's a little frustrating. That's obviously, right? Like learning how to walk, like learning anything, learning how to ride a horse, learning anything new, especially something that we're very deep attachment and like we're very, and so the meditation is working. We just have to have that trust. How do I stop thinking when I meditate? That's why you're meditating. That's why you're meditating. That's why you're meditating. You don't care, it doesn't matter. You want to slow down the thinking in your daily life. Let all the thoughts come at once while you're meditating, so that you can be much freer all the other minutes of the day. Purpose of a meditation is, you have to understand, meditation is like a magnet and it's pulling all the thoughts, and then you put them in the fire. And then when you're not meditating, you feel like, that's the purpose of the meditation. Okay, so let the thoughts come, don't fight them. Just stay centered, like, the thoughts are coming, rah, rah. It's like a storm, right? The storm is all around. The storm is all around, okay? Your mind is a constant storm. Whether you're meditating or not, all day, mind is a storm. But at the center of the storm is a stillness. You can see around you is the storm, but you have to find that center point, the sweet spot. Emotions a storm, constant storm. It's never, and it's rarely good. Rarely a good storm. But at the center of that is also the stillness. And so, let the meditation work. Give it a chance. You think it's going to absorb all your thoughts in a minute, in a one day, 1 week? You have at least a couple months, 2-3 months. Take the medicine. But then we have this goal, this expectation. It's supposed to feel nice, or be like the tickled kisses, little kisses from the angels, and little cuddling up with the fairies and the wuzzies and everything. No, sit in the fire. It's a purgatory. You don't wait till the end of life to go through the purgatory. You sit in the purgatory right now, right this moment, boom, and then be free. And then be free this lifetime. The meditation, everybody is always about that. The meditation, this and that. It's totally fine. It's perfect. Everything is working. It's just we're so attached to this comfortableness and convenience and ease and everything. We have to change that's why I say meditation is a dirty word, dangerous word. It becomes this big impossible thing. Meditation means just stop everything else. Stop moving, stop talking, stop looking, stop thinking. Just stop for a second. Stop everything. Everything you've ever done, known, thought for a moment. Just 1 second. Swallow everything, the whole universe. So, what exactly means one-pointed focus, especially when the eyes are closed? So, each moment we have like a camera. You focus the camera lens on one thing. So whether our eyes are focused or our ears are focused, our senses can be focused or unfocused. Then the mind is taking information from all the senses. Mind is processing the information. Mind can be focused, unfocused. And so generally our focus is coming through the eyes. Strongest sense is the eyes. The world is what we see. What we remember is what we see. Who we are, we see ourselves. We think what we look like, everything. So the eyes is the strong point of focus. So wherever the eyes are, then the mind is going. So eyes are focused. If the eyes are open, the eyes are locked on one point like a laser. Generally our eyes are jumping all around, dancing all around, parsing between objects and memories and everything. So the eyes become locked on one point like a laser. This is sharpening that one-pointedness. Then the eyes are open. That point, instead of the point being outside, the point is inside. Even with the eyes closed, you can direct your attention to the heart center, right? With the practice, you learn to direct your attention anywhere, in the spine, through the different channels, different parts of the brain. Right? This is that inner focus. And so it's not just the eyes, but it's the mind, it's the willpower, it's the kind of you're directing your whole attention, your whole being at one point inside of you. Physical location. You're using that point as an anchor to gather your energy. Normally we're spilling our energy out through talking, through looking, through all blah, 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 just constantly spilling our energy. Right? And so this is instead collecting the energy inside. We have these different pots. And so the inner focus. This is the yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the fluctuation, this fluctuation. So with the inner focus and the breathing, all of this, what we're doing is we're like combing. When you comb through your hair becomes very fine. So we're combing through the nervous system, through the breath, through the cells, this rhythm. It becomes very fine, very subtle. Then with the inner focus, it becomes very smooth. We enter into this state of suspension. That state of suspension is the state of yoga, like tuning. This is what we're talking about, the tuning. There's no more fluctuation of the vrittis from the rajas and the tamas, from the different polarity is causing a friction and tension. And so we're filtering that at a very subtle level. And the drishti, that one-pointedness, is essential to go to that, to enter into the kingdom. Okay, last one. This is a long one. What is the proper advised way of breathing during meditation? If it is shallow breathing, how can we use breath to come back to meditative state if we get distracted? So up until the meditation state, we're controlling the breath with the asana, with the pranayama is controlled, then chanting Rama, then meditation, you let go of the breathing. And natural breathing. Most of us, very difficult for natural breathing. Now, if during the meditation, by the time we get there, we should already be buzzing, just totally buzzing. And let's say you come out of it and you become a little more shallow, then you can do focused breathing for a few minutes and then release into natural breathing. This is the point. So, okay, you're distracted, so again, you become to this third, in spinal breathing. And you fully focus on that whole practice. So you're not thinking and like breathing in this, in the practice. You do that for 2 or 3 minutes, and then again you let go everything. And so that's how. Usually, the deep breathing helps to fight distraction. Shallow breathing does not seem to help. Alternate breathing, light when meditating, deep when distracted, to return to meditation. Yes, that's what we're saying. We're saying that because meditation is a state of surrender, not control, right? As we're controlling, our whole life is control. And that's the ego path, control. But the meditation is a surrender, so we can be controlling the breath. The controlling of the breath will help to maintain a focus and to release the pressure. And this is why we need to do the asana and pranayama, is a real purification. We have to clean. We could spend a long time cleaning. And that's why best you clean every day. If you clean your clothes a little bit every day, then it's good. If you have to clean them once a month or once a year, very difficult. You clean your bathroom every day. You clean once a year, very difficult. So clean your body, heart, and mind every day. And then more and more you can enter into that natural state of presence. In order to do that, the breath becomes, it's not that the breath is shallow, but it becomes very fine. Almost like it's not even coming in or out. It could be long, it could be short, but it's very fine, almost imperceptible. But then you become distracted. Oh, how much time is left? Oh, this, my pain, this and that. Then, okay, then you're out of it, then switch back to the breathing. Focus fully on the breathing. Do the spinal breathing again. Controlled ujjayi breathing, long focused breathing for a couple minutes until you feel, again, very quiet. Then you just release into that quietness. Maintaining the anchor, one-pointed focus. This is the recommendation. Take a moment to come back to center. Close your eyes, sit up tall, and drop all the words, forget everything. Just be present. Be present is a kind of feeling, it's not a thought. A feeling means like sensation, like a tingling, like a buzzing. So also the peace is a kind of vibration, tingling. Love, also vibration. Also yourself. To be yourself is a kind of feeling. It has nothing to do with a thought. So more and more, be quiet and be present with the sensation. Then you're connected with your wisdom. You're connected with your power. Inhale deeply. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.